everybody, welcome back. I hope you are well. Today is a very exciting video because it is in collaboration with a whole load of wonderful wheelchair users who follow me here on Wheelsnoheels. I have come up with the wheelchair tag. Now everybody who is tagged in this tag is linked down below, so after this video make sure you go and check out everyone's video after this video. If you took part, thank you so much. By doing this video, hopefully we will raise awareness of wheelchairs and all the different types of wheelchairs and wheelchair users, and also some of you out there can find other content creators on YouTube who use wheelchairs. How many times can I say wheelchair? If you're not familiar with tag style videos, they were quite trendy back in the olden days, and there are lots of different types of videos like the get to know me tag, husband and wife tag, new YouTuber tag, sister tag. I've done that one, and basically you answer lots of questions about that particular topic, and then you tag people at the end of the video to then make that video as well. If you are inspired by this video and you fancy having a go, I'll leave the questions in the description box so you can copy and paste them, and then you can answer these questions in your YouTube videos as well. Let's get on with the wheelchair tag. So the first question is, why do you use a wheelchair? Well, I will touch upon this very briefly, but go and check out this video which explains in a lot more depth as to why I use a wheelchair. But I am a T10 incomplete spinal cord injury survivor. I suffered my spinal cord injury when heart surgery went a little bit wrong when I was 9. That's packaged up in a little bow for you, but if you want to know more, go there. Are you a part-time or full-time wheelchair user? I am a full-time wheelchair user. This is my upstairs wheelchair, and this is my downstairs and everywhere wheelchair that I use the most. I've got a stair lift to go upstairs, and that's that really. What is the make and model of your wheelchair? This one is by Motion Composite, and it is the Veloci. It's an Italian word. I think it means fast. Veloci. And controversially, it's a folding frame wheelchair. But what you've got to remember is I have been a wheelchair user since the age of 10, and my parents kind of chose my wheelchairs like as I was a child. Like obviously I had some input, and I had a folding frame for all that time, and then I swapped into a rigid frame just before Daisy Bell was born, and it's been good, but I actually missed the folding frame and the way it works for me, and this is great for travelling, and when you're hiring cars and you're going in and out and visiting different places. I don't know, it just works really well for my lifestyle, and I think there seems to be this misconception that folding frame wheelchairs are not for active wheelchair users. I think it depends on the wheelchair. This is quite a good, it doesn't even look like a folding frame wheelchair. People are quite shocked sometimes when I tell them that it is a folding frame. The only downside to a folding frame wheelchair is that they don't tend to be as strong, and because there are more mechanical parts it could go wrong. It's carbon fibre. It is actually the world's lightest folding wheelchair. It's not that light, it's still quite heavy. I can't remember if it's 7 or 5 kilos. I'll put it up there as to how much it weighs. But this one is a Da Vinci wheelchair. It's custom made. They're both custom made, or made to measure, made to order kind of thing. This is just aluminium, I think. I think it's about 12 kilos. I can definitely feel the difference. This one does kind of feel stronger and sturdier. Like you can listen to all of this one like rattling around. The tyres have worn away completely on this, but the tyres on this one are doing a pretty good job considering how old it is. And this leads us quite nicely on to the next question, is do you just have the one chair? I don't have just the one chair. I actually have 3 chairs. I've got my very old folding wheelchair that I had before this one, and then I've got this one, and now I've got this one. So I kind of explained that. And obviously, as you can see, both of my chairs are manual wheelchairs. Manual means that you are doing the work and pushing yourself. The other option is an electric wheelchair, and there are lots of different types. You can get power wheels, you can get lots of add-ons and attachments for manual wheelchairs, and then you can also get full-on electric wheelchairs as well. I have never used an electric wheelchair. It's never really been an option that I've thought about, and at the moment I'm quite happy with that. I'll go on a little bit later onto other adaptations in just a minute. What cushion do you use and why? Well, I'm glad you asked. I use a Supracore wheelchair cushion for my everyday chair, and basically it feels so satisfying to squeeze, and it's basically like honeycomb inside, and it helps with pressure sores. It's very supportive and sturdy. It is quite hard when you sit on it, but I have found that it has helped my hip pain, whereas the other one that I was sitting on, which was just a foam cushion, was really not giving me as much support that I needed on my dodgy old hip here. This one is great as well because it has the air circulation, so I didn't feel, when I was in Disney, I was really hot and sticky, but it wasn't too bad. What's your dream wheelchair? I was sent, I'll have to put some pictures up on it, but a guy called Ray, hi Ray if you're watching, who I've been speaking to on Instagram, who is self-isolating all by himself and is going a bit stir crazy. So hi to you, Ray. He sent me, I think he's got this wheelchair, and he sent me a link to it, and it's amazing. It's actually a rigid framed wheelchair, but the footplate folds away as well, and you can put it in the overhead locker on an aeroplane. That one seems pretty good to me. For me, the weight is the most important thing. I would rather have a wheelchair that looked a bit nyeh, but was super light, to a wheelchair that looked the part but was really heavy, if that makes sense. What is your favourite or most useful skill you have learned to do? I would say the most useful skill that you could do is learn to pop and hold a wheelie. It's so handy. Once you have got that and you have found your centre of gravity and you can hold it and you're super confident, it really helps grow your confidence as a wheelchair user and using the chair itself. Once you have mastered that, you can then start to practice going up a curb. Even just a little curb makes a huge difference, because sometimes these casters, they can get stuck on little curbs and then you go flying out. It happens, it's horrible, and it's happened to me loads of times. Usually when someone's been pushing me. And then also, if you're feeling really brave, then going down a step as well. We're really lucky in this country that I don't often have to go down steps, because there are the dropped curbs. I have got a video on some basic wheelchair skills where I do address how to practice a wheelie, so go and check that out. And you know, we've got all this time in our houses at the moment, it might be a good idea to see if you can try and practice it with help, with advice from a medical professional. Don't try it on your own for the first time. Make sure you've got someone there and you're feeling confident and safe. I accept no responsibility. What's the best thing about being in a wheelchair? Well, you get to go down hills really fast. That's really cool. If you're in a crowd of people, usually you can part them, or they get, you know, hit on the back of the heels, so then they'll get out the way. If you are in a crowd of people, most of the time if someone notices you're there, you get to go to the front. In Disneyland, depending on your medical condition, you can go to the front of the queue. And you get the best seat in the theatre, or when you go to gigs. That's a really good one. So there are always some positives. But what's the worst thing about being in a wheelchair? I think for me, the thing I find quite hard is making friends. Like, I'm easygoing and I can like talk to people, no worries. And I'm fine with small talk, and I'm not shy, and I'm very social. But making friends is hard because people sometimes don't realise or understand, and then especially being in a group of people, people will often stand behind you and walk behind you and push you out to front like you're in a buggy, and that can be hard, trying to communicate with people, or even if I'm just wheeling myself next to people and being in a group, I find that hard and I get a stiff neck. Another great video to watch and share is how to push a wheelchair and how to talk to wheelchair users. What is your dream wheelchair accessory? Hands down, it would be a power bike. I am very close to considering getting one because I really feel like it would just open up my world. And what a freewheel is I'll find some pictures, but it attaches to your wheelchair and it kind of makes your wheelchair look like a trike or an electric, like Harley or something. They're so cool and they can go so fast, and it's just my dream. I was toying between that and a smart drive. However, I find that the smart drives tend to be, correct me if I'm wrong, but for more like around like shops and things like that, rather than out and about on like dog walks and things. But I think the power bike would be great for us, so I can go out on bike rides with Daisy and Sean and go out with the dog and things like that, and it's a bit more robust, I think, than a smart drive. And I'd like to also try a freewheel, but again, I do get quite sore and tired in the arms and back, so definitely a power bike. And if you've got one, then please feel free to give me any information or tips down below. I've got all the animals coming in, the cat's just come in, and the dog's here, stage right. Weirdest or most stupid question I have been asked being in a wheelchair. I have a whole video on the stupid things people have said to me about my disability, so feel free to check that out. But one that springs to mind, I get them all the time. The guy who said that about me being shot, that was a bit of a low point. And another one, a lady who I used to work with, she was just like a bit like floaty, airy fairy, and was just like, yeah, it must be so nice just to be sat down all day and just like wheeling around. People just have absolutely no idea. What advice would you give for someone choosing a wheelchair? As I've said, the lightest one that you can afford. And see how it will fit in with your needs. Like for me, I find that this folding frame one is really good for me and is better than my rigid framed one. So think about making sure that it can fit in your car, you can get it in your car. If you go out a lot with a friend or a particular relative, like I go out with my mum quite a lot, make sure it fits in their car as well. We had a bit of a moment when my mum got a new car and she went to like shut the boot and we were like, is it gonna go? And luckily it did, but that's definitely something to bear in mind. So that was the wheelchair tag. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions about any of my wheelchairs, then please feel free to drop them down below. I have made a video before going through my wheelchairs in a bit more detail about choosing a manual wheelchair, so feel free to go and check that out as well. If you decide to do the wheelchair tag yourself, make sure to either send me the link or tag me on your social media so I can check it out and share it as well. Sharing is caring. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye!